Welcome to the Humble Climb season. I'm not sure what it is, but 2024 back well and proper. A massive, massive thank you for all those that have been waiting patiently for our episodes to start dropping. It's been a bit of a chaotic start to the year, but I'm so excited to be back in studio with the team, and a massive thank you to everyone who has always shown us plenty of love and continuing to rate and subscribe and like and love us and everything, all the beautiful comments and likes that we continue to get. I can't start today off without thanking some of our returning sponsors and new sponsors that are continuing to be the bloodline of this amazing podcast and platform. Kicking off, of course, with A-Class Powder Coating. Amazing to continue to have your support in 2024. Thank you so much, guys. Gigi Hair and Kids, Marissa and the team are doing an awesome job for all things haircuts and whatever else you might need. They've got beauticians in there as well now, so make sure you head down to Berkeley Street and check them out. Then some of our two newest sponsors that we've got as well this year is Emily Wallace Buyers Advocate. So obviously myself being someone who's in real estate, we've got a buyer's advocate on board. So Emily, a massive thank you. Emily, Harry, I'll post all their details so you can make sure you get around them. But if you are looking to buy or looking for some advice and you're looking for an advocate out there in the marketplace, please reach out to Emily and Harry, and I will be posting their details so you've got. And lastly, of course, EcoWave Cleaning. George and the team, you're absolutely fantastic at everything you do, whether it be commercial or residential cleans. Make sure you get in touch with them. Again, we will post those details. But welcome back, and our first episode of 2024. Pretty excited and humbled to welcome a good friend of mine, Cory Hargrave from Pulse 8. Now, we've already had Joss on last year, who was one half of the band. We've got, I'm going to say, the better looking half now. Literally, Cause, welcome to the Humble Climb, and thank you so much, brother.
Cheers, Dim. Thanks for having me, mate.
It's been a long time in the making between you and I. We've been talking for a little while about making this happen. You've had an amazing, interesting sort of story and growth as to where you've been, and I'd almost say, in some respects, is it right to say that you're a late bloomer into it, or?
Yeah, so, for those that don't know me, so my background now is I work in strength and conditioning or more athlete development and a little bit more, AFL footy specific stuff now. But yeah, my background, when I finished school, I was actually an electrician for 6 years. Yeah. So finished my apprenticeship. And then, just started to realise it wasn't really for me towards the end of it. And my journey's sort of, found my way here now.
I reckon with those eyes, you would have sparked a few fuses. Dim, I love it. I actually had no clue that you were in the electrician, genuinely, so I love hearing this stuff out. But you're obviously now where you're at out of Pulse 8 in Murrumbina, which is an amazing community and environment, I would say. But you're the high-performance sort of coach out of there, and now I'm pretty sure, I could be very wrong, but one of the co-owners as well.
So Joss and I own it together. Yep.
Yeah, which is amazing. And so you started there how long ago?
So we're just stepping into our 7th year now. So basically how it happened. So Joss and another friend of mine, Jay, had started Pulse 8 together. At the time, I was working at a sports science consulting facility. Which was a little bit more athlete-based stuff. And so Joss and I had actually gone to school together. We grew up and went to high school together. We're friends. And he reached out to me and he was like, we're starting this new facility. We're pretty keen for you to come down. And I was pretty invested in my footy-based stuff at the gym I was at. And then, just sort of after a couple of months, made the decision to move across. At that stage, the boys had pretty much just started getting equipment in. So, took my clients over. Within about 3 months, bought in a percentage. And then after about 6 months, we were like, let's just go all in and do it together. We're having so much fun, and it's been incredible. So
the Pulse 8 Centre in itself, so it started off with sort of equal share owners in some respect, not equal share, but started off as owners being directly yourself, Joss, and one of my both of our very good friends, Big Steeder, Jay Steed, who we've talked about on this podcast before previously. We became such good friends because I kept on missing his PT sessions. That's genuinely how we became mates, because he's never met anybody that would either not rock up, not call and apologise because he was embarrassed, or just simply cancel on him with the same excuse every single time. And we're still such good mates. So it's incredible that we actually go to the gym sometimes together now, which is quite funny in the mornings.
Yeah.
And the guys, he's a machine and I'm just sort of trailing a bit behind. But started off with yourselves, and obviously you've had a fair change. Sort of talking it back before we go right into it, childhood-wise and everything. Murrumbina lad from memory?
Yeah. So I grew up Oakley. And then, played footy, junior footy, went to primary school at Murrumbeena. So, yeah, pretty much stuck around that area my whole life.
You and your brother and I used to play. Well, we were in the same team. I didn't play much. He was playing a lot more than I was, but little young Dars and I played a lot of football down at the Murrumbeena Football Factory together. And so with your footy prowess, I guess, as growing up, were you sort of in those talent squads and all those types of things that football was offering at those ages?
No, I wasn't. So, like, I loved footy as a kid, but I was never very, very talented. I guess where I was sort of more suited into that area was my work ethic and just, I guess my drive for wanting to be better.
Yeah.
So I always trained very hard, but just unfortunately I was just not very good. So I was always played juniors through till under 17s at Murrumbeena. And then probably just enjoyed the festivities more than the actual games, unfortunately, which probably put me a bit behind the guys I was competing with. But always trained very hard, loved my footy, but was never really exposed to the NAB League or the TAC Cup it was back when I was younger. But so I guess my knowledge around that area only came from once I started training kids that were within those areas.
It's awesome because of seeing your growth, and we'll go through it all with the way that it's happened, but going from an electrician to a co-owner of an elite sports facility now in what Pulsate has become, it's a fair change to make from going. And did you find when you were going through the post-school years and maybe fluttering with the electrician idea, did you go through a period of being like shit or feeling lost, like I don't quite know what I'm going to do? Yeah,
very much so. I think, look, when I was younger, like I said, I absolutely loved footy and I was dedicated to my footy when I was 16, 17. And school just wasn't for me. I really struggled paying attention in school. I hadn't even read a book really until I was about 24, I think, was the first novel that I read. I was really lost. I was fortunate my parents were pushed me to get into a job early, which again taught me just to have good work ethic, and I learned a lot of foundations about business and that sort of thing through my electrical apprenticeship and through the company that I was working with. And even when I left there, I was really unsure about what I was going to do. I knew I wasn't happy in the space what I was doing, and still somewhat a little bit lost in my early 20s. And I actually ended up. So when I quit, I went over to Thailand, and I taught English for 6 months. So I knew I just wanted to get out of Melbourne, just start something fresh, try something different. And look, I was captain of my footy club in my junior years, so I'd always sort of had a
leadership role.
Mentoring, that sort of thing. I knew I had a slight passion in. So decided that I'd give that a crack. Went over there, had a really nice holiday, and once I sort of found myself, I thought that's initially what I was expecting I wanted to do. So I came back to Melbourne, had teed up to do a teaching degree. So I started putting in all the applications. Obviously, it was a little bit more of a process for me because I didn't really have an enter score and didn't really have much of a background in education or anything. But got some advice from the right people and got recommendations. And just before I was about to put in my application for teaching, I'd started training at the sports science consulting facility that I eventually worked for, and was doing the strength and conditioning work that I coach now. So started doing that, and it was just like a light bulb moment I had one day. I was like, shit, I don't think really teaching is for me. I love the teaching component, but it was more the coaching. I love footy. Footy's my passion, and just being able to help footy players and now young footballers is I started to realise was what I really wanted to invest myself in.
That's incredible. We've gone from electrician to teacher in Thailand to teaching English to now being obviously in the space that you're at. I love what Pulsate. I know we've discussed it almost a year ago when we had Joshy on, but I love what Pulsate offers as a community and a vibe. And a lot of my mates or our mates go there and are continuing to go there. But also the recognition now that you guys are getting from the outer circles, I would say, of and let's call it the AFL likes. I mean, from a player's perspective, and if we're talking purely AFL, some of the biggest names that you can get come and train there. I mean, Braden Maynard, Tom Mitchell, Jeremy Howe, Finn Callahan from GWS, throwing him in there as well. And there's more I'm sure that I'm forgetting about. It's an incredible platform that you guys are building, and obviously being trusted with these, let's call it elite sports people's bodies in the off-season or whatever it might be. it's an incredible thing. Why, I guess, are these types of people or these sports people choosing places like like Pulse 8?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's interesting. A lot of people ask me that. I think, look, how we really built our foundation around having the environment with elite sports players was when I had initially started my coaching. I was fortunate enough to coach two young players that got drafted, Jack Higgins and Laith Vandermeer. So Jack had got drafted to Richmond first, and Laith was still at the Bulldogs. And it's just one of those things that it just every year it would just sort of be a little bit of word of mouth. They'd bring a player from a club, and then I'd have another young kid or two kids that would get picked up, and it just sort of kept snowballing, and it was just, you're just sort of fortunate. It falls in your lap sometimes that some of these kids are really good footballers, and had some really high draft picks. I think in the COVID year, I know Finn went really early, had Josh Rochelle, another guy, Campbell Chessel, sort of went in.
Campbell Chessel went to West Coast, is that right?
Yeah. All within the top 20. And then, within that year, it was sort of COVID happened, and it was, a real curse in terms of what had happened for our business at the time. But I guess if there's any positive out of it, a lot of the elite guys weren't able to still train at their facilities. So, that word of mouth, and we just started, but we're able to bring more guys in. And I guess for us, the culture that I think, I mean, look, I'm only speaking not on behalf of the guys, but from what the feedback that I get is the culture and the care factor that we provide at Pulse 8 is probably a little bit different. And, everything that we do, I try to, Joss and myself will individualise as much as possible, and the rest of our staff, sorry. So it's not as if, people just come in, they just get given a program and they go through the motions. We really take the time to actually find out, okay, what's someone's lifestyle, their history in terms of their injuries, what are they actually trying to improve, and then we can try and set themselves a little bit more of an individualised program and take the time to be able to train them one-on-one or in shorter settings, which, it's just for resources or for whatever reason that sometimes they don't quite get that at the elite level. So yeah, that's sort of how it's fallen into place.
I find it amazing, and like knowing you personally, I've always known what an amazing upbringing you've had, like especially your man, or both your parents, but your man being the firefighter, like gentle giant that he is. Big Fred, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it, Freddie. Yeah.
And he was also being a president.
He was, I remember, he's still involved with the club now.
So obviously you've had always an amazing upbringing, and you can tell that from even back then. But one of the things that you're passionate about as well that I've noticed throughout is the care and effort that you put into AFLW as well. Like I think it's amazing, like seeing your profile. Like you get around the girls so much when something like Kate Hoare?
Kate Hoare's there, Grace Egan. Liv Vesley from St Kilda, Steph Chochi.
It's an amazing community that you've got growing. But it's amazing. You've got the AFL side doing, and that's plugging away, and then the AFLW, and then obviously your boxing friend Campbell Somerville as well. Yep. You really are becoming that one-stop shop for so many elite sports people now, and I feel like year on year it's probably growing. I think recently I saw, and I could be wrong, but Bailey Smith was in there from the Bulldogs as well.
Yeah, that was just after our COVID year, actually. He's coming. Yeah.
It's a pretty amazing facility that you have for a little place in, well, it's not so little, but for a suburban for a suburban place in Murrumbina, next to, by the way, the best shawarmas going around in the business, Oasis Bakery. My word, they are fantastic. But yeah, it's an amazing place to see the growth that you guys have had, and I think it's coming obviously through to a lot of places. Love and care is obviously paramount, but the energy you guys are bringing in the mornings is off the charts.
Yeah, well, I can't give credit to the energy. I've got to give that to my business partner, Joss. He's the one that's really the face in terms of, how he sparks everyone up, and he's just such an incredible motivator. But I guess now, it's more of a real team effort, and I think, I guess maybe another draw for why everyone is coming to us, or particularly with Pulse 8 itself, is the fact that we have built ourselves from the ground up, so we're really just, and I'll put Jay within this as well. We're just three local guys from Murrumbina that just wanted to have a crack and just enjoy ourselves and give people the opportunity to train, but just enjoy themselves while they were doing it. And like I said, obviously my passion in footy has been able to sort of, specify my training and go into a little bit more of a niche of the footy market. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's just got to make sure that we just enjoy it every day, and yeah, we're very, very lucky to have it.
So run me through, as someone like yourself that's obviously an elite trainer of all types of people that you see, your sort of Monday to Sunday as such, or whatever it might be. I mean, what type of hours are you working? I mean, individualized programs, all those types of things that I imagine that you're working out on when you're not physically working out with clients. You're obviously doing all these programs and things like that. What's sort of the work rate like for someone like yourself?
Yeah, so I mean, look, it's so to get an understanding of basically how my career will operate is, so Pulsate is its own entity in itself, and I'm a director of Pulsate or owner, but then I also have my high performance stuff, and I guess my personal training is my own business as well. So I juggle operating both at the same time, and I guess the biggest thing is having the staff and having the people around you to be able to support you to continue to build that, and also have a life outside of your work as well. So really Mondays is a little bit more of an admin day, so I spend a lot of the time with Joss and the two of our managers who've been incredibly helpful, Georgia and Jordan, at building us up. So we spend a lot of the time planning the week, breaking down our classes, our class numbers, obviously doing our budgets, that sort of thing. Then I'll progress into doing a little bit more of my individual stuff. So there's a couple of guys that I've got that work with myself, with my athletes, or with our athletes, sorry. And then, we'll start talking about what had happened the week before. So if there's any niggles or anything from guys the week before, any program adjustments that we might need to make or that we're going to be making for the week ahead. And then, then we can start setting up the programming and all our times from there. And then the afternoon is when I start my training. So most of the stuff that I'll do now, I do, a few one-on-ones. If I've got new people that'll come on in, I always like training them one-on-one just to set a foundation first. But then we set him to a little bit more of a semi-private group model. So basically it works really well. So a lot of the people that I train now is more of the 16, 17, 18-year-olds that are actually trying to push to go into the AFL system. Yeah. So AFLW now, a little bit different. I've got a lot of the girls in now because they're in the off-season, so they're not playing. AFL, it's a bit harder when they're getting close to the games. They're at the club for 6 days a week, so really for them to step out and see me for the extra day doesn't happen too often. There's a couple that'll sort of come in if we'll do a little bit of tune-ups and that sort of thing. But so most of the guys and girls that I'm training are of that younger level. So they'll usually set up about 1 to 2 sessions a week, and then we do a
no, you go.
Yeah, and then so we do integrate a little bit more of speed, agility, strength, and power. So just sort of created good enough methods that have obviously worked for us over time and worked for our athletes. So it's that's kind of how we set the base of it.
So speaking about some of these younger people that are coming through, like as an example that you guys have had training, and I could talk about the most recent, I guess, draftees to a degree, but people like Cooper Simpson, I think Harvey Johnston, another one, Elijah, who's just been in the systems, to Eliza Tatas, who's only been in the, I think he's been there 2 years in the system.
Yeah, he got picked up last year.
Colby Bakurcha just got picked up, Blake Drury, so all those types of players, right? But all these younger guys, obviously I imagine these younger guys were training with you in their 16, 17, 18-year level. How are you guys formatting, like are some of these, we call them the NAB League now, for those that don't know, that used to be called the TAC Cup back in our day. But for some of these players, I mean, is there talent managers reaching out to you guys or whatever? How is that working?
Yes, I guess, look, things have adapted a lot over time. So early days, well, like I said, when I first started, I always had a couple of players, but it was more just sort of off the bat of social media stuff friends of friends, that sort of thing. Definitely the last couple of years, I think the players management side of things has picked up a lot, and most of the guys are, the better players are definitely going to be looked after management. And I've got a really good relationship with a lot of players' agents that will, get in contact with me if they've got a kid in the area that they want to try, whether they've got injury issues, or again, there might be clubs have said to them, look, this boy or girl's deficient in their speed, or, they need to get a little bit more strength, whatever. And then I basically just give them a template of what I would recommend they need. I meet the athlete, and then we go from there. And
you're probably dealing, and I know you can't say it because you're obviously dealing with many different player agents, but I've only got the one that I deal with in the GOAT and the King, Nick Geish.
Yeah, no, I get along really well with Geish. He's a great guy.
He's one of my favourite humans. He's actually been on this podcast himself.
Yeah, I've listened.
So he's a very, very, very good friend of mine. So I imagine people like him are setting down clients or their own talent as well to people like you, and they've got that relationship directly where they can be like, mate, can you just sort out these boy and have a look at his speed or have a look at his agility? The club thinks they need to work on X, Y, Z. What do you think? And all that. Is that how it sort of works, breaking it down?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look, I openly say this to all the players agents and the managers that, I have relationships with all these guys. It's really important. And look, I'm confident that the product that we put out, I believe is the best in the country. And, I think that it doesn't matter who I talk to, what relationships we have, as long as our product is always going to be the best. Everyone will want to keep sending players to us. And I guess, again, the difference is being able to have those relationships with the managers too, and be open and honest with everyone, is that they can create a trusting relationship with you too. And they know that, if they are going to send, and these are young adults, they're really kids, they're 7-year-old kids that they're sending in, and they're making recommendations to their parents and to these kids to promise them that you're going to have a good product that, that we are passionate about actually giving them the best result, and we're going to do everything we can to get them drafted.
One of the most amazing, and I know that you've got a very close relationship with the Collingwood vice captain Braden Maynard. And I know that you're very close, and we're working on getting him on the pod. It's going to happen. It's going to happen eventually. I'm just a bit like that annoying person. I just sit there and I just chip away at it. But it will happen. But I saw this amazing thing. It was something on your social media, I think it was, and it was maybe an embrace after the grand final or something. I could be wrong. I think it was that.
It was a prelim.
Was it the prelim? Yeah. Which was amazing to see. Like, obviously, you were in the inner sanctum in the rooms, and I was like, obviously that's how much this guy values your work in the off season, and I'm sure you work throughout the season as well that you do, to have you at such a special game and in the rooms as well. I just thought it was incredible.
Well, look, and that's the most rewarding thing for me. It's, I just love being able to see or giving more of my guys and girls the opportunity to get the best out of themselves. Yeah. And like I said, I guess it's something that, I was never able to do because I didn't have the talent to get myself there. So I think being able to give the guys who have the talent, what I do have, and like I said, that finding the ability to work and my knowledge that I know I can help them get better is, it's something that's been really special. And I guess my relationship with Braden is a really special one because, he came to me, I think it was just before COVID, to start training. And, even though he'd been in the system for a few years, I think he's still quite raw in terms of his athletic ability. And he'll probably openly say this, he was probably still a little bit immature in terms of his attitude towards footy before he really started committing himself. Yeah, and, just to be a part of his journey and be able to watch him grow and become the person. Well, he was always been a fantastic person, but just his growth within footy has just been exceptional. Yeah. And I even see it around. I just say that the difference between, when I get the young guys and girls that come in and then surrounded by the elite when they come in, you can imagine sometimes that these players that have attention on themselves all the time, could neglect the kids or, just want to do their own thing. And just his ability to go over to young 17, 18-year-old kids and introduce himself and, spend the time to train with them. Sometimes we'll link up sessions, that sort of thing, help them outside. Like, he's just an incredible human being. And to see him get voted as vice captain again for this year is, it's truly amazing. He's an awesome guy.
I love hearing that. It's awesome. And I couldn't agree more. And that's that skyrocketing effect that we've sort of talked about with where it is, sort of wanting me to move on. And I spoke to a good friend of ours today. You may know him. His name's Josh Holdsworth from Pulse 8.
Here we go.
And I said to him, great man, I've got Cory coming on the pod. How would you best describe him if you had to sum him up? And he goes, intelligent, funny, loyal, outgoing, magnificent body, but was there for me when I needed him the most. First one there when times are tough, and I'm extremely lucky to have him as a business partner, but most importantly as family. And I think that's probably the most amazing way to sum you up, to be honest with you, mate.
Thanks, mate.
And it was actually really, really good to see. And because I know as guys and as blokes, we don't normally talk as openly about how much we love one another. But I just thought it was awesome, and I just wanted you to know that because you've always had that bright smile on your face, man, and it's just amazing to see. A couple of questions that I wanted to fire off to you as well, importantly.
Yep.
With your industry in particular, the fitness industry right now, and we were talking on the way in about different gyms and all those types of things. From an industry leader that you guys are, what do you see the biggest issue with your industry at the moment? Or is there one that stands out to you? There might not be. You know?
I mean, look, I used to think there was an issue around probably the lack of education that a lot of high-end trainers or, social influencers and that sort of thing were having on the general population as more of just like a sales pitch as opposed to actually selling someone an efficient product. But now I look at it and I just think, if people are encouraging people to get out and train and, and move and do more things, like it's not an issue at all. I think maybe within with the athlete development side of things, potentially sometimes there is a little bit of a flaw there where, kids are getting sucked into people that might have a bigger influence or following than other people and not quite following the programs that are going to be best directed for them. But again, really, if kids are just learning to commit themselves at an early age, I think they're going to find the right path over time anyway. So in terms of that being an issue, I don't think it is. I think, the fitness industry is booming at the moment. I think, for us, it's probably been the busiest summer we've ever had in Pulsate history in terms of numbers coming through the door and for myself with my athletes coming through. So, I mean, I guess it's good to see that everyone's actually motivated and keen to try and get the best out of themselves. Now it's just making sure that we can actually direct people to finding the most efficient ways and being able to get the best out of themselves.
I love that. If you could change one thing about your industry, whether it be hypothetically a higher level of accreditation for a trainer or something, or a constant refresher, someone that's in, as an example, real estate, we always getting asked these questions as to, you speak to so many people, they're like, oh, I used to be a PT, or I got my agent's license for real estate, but I didn't stick it out, or I lasted 3 months, or PT, I hear a lot. Like I hear a lot of people, more than just a PT, but I'm just saying in general, you hear a lot of people that have got, I'm a PT. Yeah. Do you think that it needs to be sometimes maybe a harder accreditation process or something just to sort of get that title?
Oh, look, I think it's a tough one because, I mean, when I look at my background, so I had a bachelor degree in sport and exercise science, and I look at the most of what I'd learned that's applicable for my athletes now, I would have learned from separate courses outside of my degree. Yeah. And even though it was really important, there was a lot of really things that were really good. It's not the be all and end all to being a good coach, definitely. And, there's a lot of things that I've only discovered from coaching hours. And I look back at methods that I might have used in my first, second year of coaching that I thought were really applicable and good then, that I would think are laughable now. And I think the other thing, the human body is very complex and everyone is so different. So and I think that's the hardest thing is there's so many different methods that are going to be good for one person that might not be good for someone else. And it just takes years of experience and practice to find out, what does work. Yeah. I think, there probably is an issue around, there's some courses, I don't actually know this exactly, but just sort of hearing things, you might be able to fast track online courses or something. You can just do certificates in, I don't even know what it is, 3-4 months or something, which it doesn't matter what industry you're working in. I don't think, that would be, you're really going to find a good education from that. But in terms of the actual education process, if I was going to give advice to anyone that's going to go down my career path, I would just say that research is changing all the time, and research also isn't everything. There's a lot of models that you can base off, that you need to keep adapting and molding to new things as they're coming, and be open to accepting that you might be wrong in some ways that you coach things, and just be open to keep learning as you're going.
It's you're probably the same as me, but the on-job experience is so invaluable and learning as you get older, and the time that you probably we're all going to look back at things that we did in our first couple of years in our respective jobs and be like, oh, we changed that up so much.
Yeah,
we do
for
things
sure.
that so differently,
100%.
which is always the way with things. So just a few questions, mate, before we finish up. So one of the questions that I want to ask you was how you manage and balance because you're working, 60, 70 hours a week?
Oh, yeah, it'd be something crazy.
Something crazy. How do you go about managing your own personal life? Obviously, that's a super important question.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, initially it's now we've grown into two big businesses essentially, but under Pulsate, it's providing yourself with the right staff and the right support staff around you to share the workload. And obviously, Joss is my best mate, my biggest support. You know, we do everything together. So us always communicating and making sure we're giving time for family, and if we've got other stuff on or whatever, there's always a really good agreement there. Our incredible staff, like we've got 20 staff now.
Wow.
That we all, delegate different tasks or different head roles to certain individuals to manage things. So it just means that Joss and myself can oversee the business rather than trying to micromanage everything at the same time. And then I guess the other thing is just actually setting myself specific hours to make sure that I don't go over the top, because like anyone, if I wanted to work 90 hours, if I wanted to do Monday to Sunday, I could find something to do realistically.
Full
but
work, yeah.
Yeah, there's always going to be something to do, and that's something that I've probably realised and come to change over time is, even though there's the voice in your head that's going, we'll get this done, you'll be happy, the next thing, another issue or something else comes up. So, you got to find that balance. And for me, it's dedicating time, to my family, to my partner, to footy, to my own training is something that you tend to forget sometimes as a trainer when you're so invested in everyone else. So just making sure, for me, it's like I don't do anything until about 11 o'clock. The morning's my time, and then the afternoon I'll go and work through to the night. And generally now I'm trying to have Saturday and Sundays off.
Yeah.
I'm sort of working maybe 1 in 4 Saturdays, but it's a little bit on my own accord, which it just not only does it mean that I get my life on top of my work life, but it makes your actual work life so much more efficient. I feel like I'm a lot better at work when I've had some time off.
Speaking about your partner, you're a very attractive couple. I've seen the photos on Instagram, and let me say, wow.
Yeah, I think she lifts the bar on that one, not me.
Mate, I absolutely love it. It's awesome. Now, one of the last things that I wanted to ask you, and before we head into the Humble 3, which has got brand new questions this year on the Humble 3, so we changed them up from last year, so I'm looking forward to getting into it. But social media for your business in particular, I'm massive. I love it. I think it's everything. But social media, how much of an important influence has it been on your business?
Well, near to everything really. Like, when I first started, like I said, it's a lot more word of mouth. That was, 10 years ago or something. And, it's you start to realise that kids are on their phone, or everyone's on their phones flat stick now. It's like if you're not in everyone's face constantly, then there's someone else will be, and they're going to find a faster route to creating that connection which you could have. So, look, for me, it's very important. I just keep trying to keep my stories going as much as I can, not just to grow my business, but just to show everyone exactly how good and how competent the guys are that we've got too, and show them off a little bit, and because it is something that we're very proud of is the athletes that we have. And but yeah, so I guess it's also providing people with comfort around the knowledge that I have. So something I'm not huge on posting, which I do need to get better on, but I always make sure, regardless of the traction that I might get from a post, what I'm putting out still allows people to, when they look at my profile, will say, whether it is a players agent or say it's an AFL coach or, strength coaches from there, when players are coming and they're seeing me, that they can look at it and go, oh, okay, maybe this guy actually does know what he's talking about. And I think it's very important. Like even though we're human beings, that our online profile is something
like a
that's,
resume.
Yeah, exactly right. Everyone has one now, so it's just a way of life.
It's an incredible. Yeah, no, I love your content. Like even like as I said, just generally the way the cutting of everything that you guys do is phenomenal, both across Pulsate and obviously yours as well. I mean, if anyone's never checked out the videos when these guys launch, like that they do when they're launching a Pulsate challenge or something, like you've got to go jump on the page. It is one of the funniest things. I think you were dressed in a bunny outfit, or
we got married last time.
Yeah, you got married last time. Yeah, like it is. Who comes up with that stuff?
Oh, it's Joss. That's not me at all.
No,
I tell you, mate, Timmy, we have I'll get a phone call. Say we're going to do the video on the Friday. I'll get a phone call on the Tuesday, and he'll put a song on, and he goes, "Listen to this," and he goes, "Friday, we're getting married."
Right.
What are you talking about? And he goes, "Oh, he'd arranged for me to have a pink suit, but he goes, I've got a pink suit for you Friday. Just rock up, we'll sort out then." So no one's got any idea what's going on. He just goes to the staff. You get here at 12 o'clock, and then his head just exploded, and he's just the most creative person I've ever come across. It's incredible, just
blows
his
up.
Creativity, his energy, just his passion, his love for everyone.
No to it. Is there anything you've ever said no to, like a video idea?
No.
Nah.
You know why? Because I initially first, we used to be so stupid in terms of budgeting for things, for parties, for our videos, different stuff. And I remember we spent crazy amounts of money in our first couple of years on some things. And I used to question him. And then, the positivity and the outcome that we'd have from these videos. I think after our first couple, I was like, "Look, bro, you just do you tell me the time. I'll get there. I don't care if I look like an idiot." Everyone loves it. Our members love it. So,
mate,
it's
how many members are you up to now?
I think we have 220 at Pulse 8, and then there's 80 athletes that I've got now, and then so I guess even on top of the 220 members that we have at Pulse 8, all our trainers, the 20 people that are there, everyone's got their own PTs on top of that. So there's a lot of foot traffic coming in the door now. It's such an incredible community. So proud to be a part of it. It's something that's really special. It's a great lifestyle that we're able to live.
And then the last three questions that we want to finish up with, because I'm really appreciative of you coming in. So they're brand new, humble three questions, and they've taken me forever to get through and trying to get through. And I know everyone's probably waiting with bated breath, so I'll get to it. If you could invite three people to dinner, any three people, who would it be and why?
Okay, three people. So for those that don't know, I'm really into my country music. Yeah. So I'd love Morgan Wallen would be one, definitely. Who would be two? I guess my favourite footballer when I was a junior growing up was Tony Liberatore. So I used to love Libba. So let's say Libba for number two. And then number three, so someone that he's like this would be a bit out there, he's like a spiritual teacher, Eckhart Tolle. Yeah. Some people might not know, but he's I've been getting a lot into my meditation and mindfulness stuff over the last few years, and he's someone that I've followed. Is just very, very much able to be present and just really, really good practices. So those would be my three.
I'm so excited to keep on getting these answers this year. It's awesome.
It's out there.
It's so, you know what? Because no one's going to say the same three.
Yeah.
So I love it. Your ideal retirement destination. So money's not a factor.
Yeah.
But your ideal retirement destination.
Well, maybe like somewhere like the Maldives.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll just get over there, just sit on the beach and I can just tan, just eat seafood. Maybe I've got a gym, I'll just train every morning. Just, me and the missus just kick the feet up and relax.
Pulse 8 franchises to Maldives.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And number three, which is a bit of a self-reflective moment, but what has been the one moment in your life which has made you the most proud? The most proud.
One moment in life that's made me the most proudest. I don't know if there's been a specific moment, but I think, upon reflection, probably the moment that I'm the most proud of is the day when I quit my job as an electrician. Because I think for me, I was quite scared to make a transition of changing my life. I was quite unhappy with a lot of things and with my lifestyle at the time. And it probably took me, I think, 2 years to make that decision to go. And I'll be completely honest, I actually had no idea what I was going to do. I remember walking into work that day and knowing that I didn't want to be there, and I just thought, I can't do this anymore. I'm getting out of here. And I went on my phone, looked up working overseas, found a teaching online course. I booked it in that day, and I told my boss the next day I was leaving. And from going from someone that I just expected that work was going to be something that everyone has to do, and the unhappiness and everything else was just something that goes with it. You just work for money, and from doing that, I found, I was able to start a business with my best mate, and I lived the best day lived the best life every day. I truly love going to work. I get up every morning, I want to be there, and I have to almost pull myself away from it now. So it's that defining moment for me. To make that decision, I guess, was ballsy at the time, but if I never made it, I wouldn't be able to be doing what I'm doing now.
I love that. Hopefully we'll clip that one up as a social clip because that was awesome. That was an awesome response, which I'm glad we've changed up those 3 questions because I tried to put as much love into this episode as possible. And I genuinely, mate, can't thank you for coming on enough. You guys are doing amazing things. I love your videos. I love your positivity. I love your creativity. And I love just what everything you guys stand for. You're as family-orientated and friendly-orientated as you come. And I think Josh's words that he said about you, and obviously I know we haven't hung out in a while, but are as true as it gets. You're one of nature's absolute gentlemen. So thank you so much for coming on, mate.
No, cheers, Dim. Thanks, brother.
You're a legend. If anyone that wants to check it out, please make sure you jump on Instagram. Obviously, there'll be all the tags and everything. A massive thank you, as always, to our sponsors once again, Gigi Hair and Kids, Emily Wallace Buyers Advocates. Please check them out on Instagram, Eco Wave Cleaning, and of course A-Class Powder Coating. As always open to sponsorship opportunities, and for anyone that wants to get involved, please continue to get in touch with us. Subscribe, like, share, do everything you can. There'll be plenty of collabs happening from this episode between the Humble Climb and Pulsate and Cory and Josh. So look forward to having you guys back on again. Thank you so much. Good to be back. Enjoy.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you, legend.